I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years.
And I have given all the proofs of who was involved with Diddy. I have presented the videotape of Diddy's parties as evidence. Now no one can save Diddy and the other celebs. Jay-Z, all of them were Diddy's handlers. After watching the rest of the documentary, you'll understand.
That continues to haunt me. It wasn't until 50 Cent came to me with Diddy's documentary, revealing the truth and comforting me that it wasn't my fault. He told me he would ruin Diddy if I didn't want to see endless discussions online. He suggested I'd take some time to clear my mind, and after it was over, I should give myself a chance to start fresh. So I ran away. But when I saw Diddy's mother denying the documentary, claiming it was all false, I couldn't sit still anymore. She was the one who created the monster that is Diddy. But to this day, she still refuses to admit that the monster in that documentary is real. I hate her for it, but I had to come forward as a witness. It took me a lot of mental preparation to finally speak out about the darkness inside me. 50 Cent was like a hero, speaking up for us, so I can't back down and let him face the pressure alone.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn, silence your group chats, and cancel whatever peaceful plans you had for today, because the hip-hop internet has officially entered meltdown mode. The reason? 50 Cent just unleashed part 3 of the documentary everyone has been whispering about, and the moment it dropped, social media exploded like someone set off fireworks inside the music industry. Now let's be honest for a second. When 50 Cent releases something involving controversy, the internet doesn't just watch. It studies every second like it's decoding a secret message. The man has built an entire reputation around turning drama into entertainment. And somehow, every time people think the story can get bigger, he finds a way to crank the chaos up another level. But this time, fans are saying part 3 hit different. Because according to viewers who rushed to watch the newest installment, the episode didn't just revisit old stories. Instead, it reportedly introduced serious discussions and uncomfortable claims connected to Diddy. And even more shocking, the conversation online started linking the documentary's narrative to Jay-Z's name being mentioned in the mix, and the second that details started circulating on social media, the internet absolutely lost its mind. Twitter timelines started moving like breaking news feeds. TikTok analysts began dissecting the episode like investigative journalists. Gossip pages posted dramatic headlines that made the situation sound like a hip-hop thriller movie unfolding in real time. Some fans claimed the documentary was revealing things people had been whispering about for years. Others immediately questioned whether the internet was exaggerating the details, just to create another viral headline. Now, before we dive into the internet meltdown that followed the release of part 3, we need to rewind the story for a moment. Because the tension surrounding this documentary didn't suddenly appear overnight. In reality, the buildup has been simmering in the background for quite some time, slowly turning curiosity into anticipation. If you've followed hip-hop culture over the years, you already know that 50 Cent and Diddy have never exactly been best friends. Their relationship has been filled with jokes, subtle jabs, internet trolling, and the kind of competitive energy that has fueled headlines for more than a decade. Sometimes their exchanges looked playful, like two rivals poking fun at each other online. Other times the tension seemed a little more serious, especially when conversations started touching on business, influence, and the power structures inside the music industry. So when rumors began circulating that 50 Cent was involved in producing a documentary exploring Diddy's controversies, fans immediately paid attention. Some people assumed it would simply be another entertainment project, but others suspected it might turn into something far more explosive, especially considering 50 Cent's history of speaking openly about industry drama. At first, details about the documentary were limited. Short clips appeared online. Cryptic posts started circulating. Small hints suggested that the project might explore stories and conversations that many fans had only heard about through rumors or speculation, and that mystery only made people more curious. Because when 50 Cent teases something controversial, the internet automatically expects fireworks. As the first parts of the documentary started generating discussion online, the reactions were already intense. Some viewers praised the storytelling style and said the project felt like a deep dive into complicated industry history. Others were skeptical. They questioned whether the documentary was presenting a balanced narrative or simply amplifying controversy in a way that would attract attention. But regardless of where people stood on that debate, one thing was obvious: everyone was watching, because in hip-hop culture, stories involving powerful figures always attract interest, and once the first episode started circulating, the conversation kept growing. But even with all the attention surrounding the project, nothing prepared the internet for the reaction that would follow part 3. The moment word spread that the newest installment had been released, social media timelines instantly filled with reactions. Fans rushed to watch it, gossip pages began posting dramatic headlines, and TikTok creators started recording reaction videos within minutes. It felt less like a documentary episode and more like a surprise album drop. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know the same thing: what exactly was in part 3? Viewers began posting vague reactions online. Some described the episode as intense and uncomfortable to watch. Others claimed the documentary touched on conversations that had rarely been discussed publicly, but the mystery surrounding the details only made the situation louder, because when people describe something as shocking without explaining exactly why, the internet immediately becomes curious. Then came the moment that truly sparked the online explosion. According to some viewers, the documentary didn't just focus on Diddy's controversies. It also mentioned broader conversations about the music industry and allegedly referenced names connected to powerful circles within hip-hop. And once people started claiming that Jay-Z's name had been mentioned during the discussion, the internet reaction intensified instantly, because Jay-Z isn't just another celebrity, he's one of the most influential figures in the history of hip-hop. So naturally, once his name began appearing in online discussions connected to the documentary, social media reacted immediately. Some fans questioned whether viewers were exaggerating what the documentary actually said. Others argued that documentaries often explore connections between artists and industry, history as part of broader storytelling. But regardless of the interpretation, the conversation spread quickly. Twitter timelines turned into debate rooms. TikTok creators began posting breakdowns of what they believed the documentary was suggesting. Instagram comment sections filled with people arguing about what the episode actually revealed, and suddenly the conversation expanded beyond hip-hop fans. Entertainment bloggers started discussing the documentary like it was a major cultural moment. Reaction videos began appearing across YouTube analyzing the situation from every possible angle. Some viewers treated the documentary like investigative storytelling. Others approached it like entertainment drama that happened to involve real celebrities. But the most fascinating part of the reaction wasn't the debates themselves. It was the anticipation, because as the discussion surrounding part 3 continued spreading across social media, people began realizing something. Now this is where the situation truly exploded into full internet chaos. Because once viewers finished watching part 3, the reactions didn't stay inside hip-hop discussion circles. The conversation spread across every corner of social media like wildfire. Twitter timelines suddenly looked like live reaction threads during a championship game. Some users posted shocked reactions, claiming the documentary raised questions they had never heard discussed publicly before. Others were far more skeptical, arguing that the internet was exaggerating details just to create another viral storyline. And then TikTok entered the chat. If there's one thing TikTok creators love, it's dissecting controversial content like detectives analyzing evidence. Within hours, creators were posting breakdown videos explaining what they believed the documentary was suggesting. Some paused clips, added commentary, and presented theories like they were narrating an investigative series. The comment sections under those videos became absolute chaos. Some viewers believed the documentary was exposing uncomfortable conversations about the music industry. Others insisted people were jumping to conclusions based on vague reactions rather than actual context. But regardless of who was right, the situation had already become a viral moment. And of course, meme culture immediately jumped in. One popular meme showed a giant bowl of popcorn labeled "The Internet," while a TV screen labeled 50 Cent Documentary Part 3 played in the background. The caption read, "Hip-hop fans watching the drama unfold." Another viral meme compared the situation to a crossover episode between a Netflix documentary and a reality show reunion, joking that 50 Cent had once again found a way to dominate social media conversations without even releasing music. But the most interesting reactions came from longtime hip-hop fans. Some praised the documentary for exploring controversial topics that people had quietly discussed for years. They argued that documentaries are meant to ask difficult questions and examine complicated industry dynamics. Others felt the entire situation was being turned into entertainment drama. They suggested that the internet sometimes takes complex issues and simplifies them into viral headlines, turning real conversations into social media spectacle. And that debate quickly became part of the story itself, because now people weren't just talking about the documentary. They were talking about how the internet reacts to documentaries. Meanwhile, entertainment blogs and gossip pages amplified the conversation even further. Headlines appeared asking whether the documentary might spark new discussions about the history of the music industry. Once those headlines started spreading, the situation grew even louder. Comment sections filled with thousands of opinions. Some fans treated the documentary like serious storytelling. Others joked that it felt like a hip-hop thriller series where every episode leaves viewers waiting for the next twist. Then came the reaction videos. YouTubers began posting breakdowns analyzing the episode in detail. Some praised 50 Cent's ability to create suspense and keep audiences curious about what might happen next. Others joked that the documentary release felt like a strategic move designed to dominate the internet conversation. And honestly, both things could be true. Because if there's one thing 50 Cent understands better than most artists, it's how to control the spotlight. But while the memes, debates, and analysis videos continued spreading everywhere, something very important was missing: a response. Because while the internet was busy discussing every possible interpretation of the documentary, people started wondering how the individuals mentioned in the online conversation might react. Would anyone address the documentary publicly? Would statements appear responding to the claims circulating online? Or would silence allow the story to fade naturally? That question quickly became the new center of attention. Fans started refreshing their timelines waiting for updates. Gossip pages speculated about whether reactions might appear soon. Even casual viewers who hadn't watched the documentary were suddenly curious about how the situation might evolve. Because in the world of internet drama, reactions often become bigger than the original story, and that's exactly what made the situation feel unpredictable. Some fans believed silence would keep the controversy from growing larger. Others believed that if someone involved decided to respond publicly, the internet chaos could explode into an even bigger cultural moment. And if history has taught social media anything about hip-hop drama, it's this simple truth: once a story like this starts trending, it rarely fades quietly. By the time the internet finished debating Part 3 of the documentary, the conversation had already grown far beyond the original release. What started as a new episode in a documentary series quickly transformed into a full cultural moment that had fans, critics, and commentators all talking at the same time. And the aftermath looked exactly like what happens when hip-hop culture collides with the internet. First came the endless debates. Comment sections across every platform were filled with opinions from fans trying to interpret what the documentary actually meant. Some viewers believed the episode raised serious questions about industry relationships and power structures that had existed behind the scenes for years. Others weren't convinced. They argued that the internet was turning a documentary discussion into a dramatic storyline simply because controversy attracts attention. In their view, viewers were reacting to Speculation more than confirmed facts. The divide happened almost instantly. One side of the internet treated the documentary like investigative storytelling that deserves serious discussion. The other side treated it like entertainment drama that happened to involve some of the most powerful names in hip-hop. Meanwhile, meme culture continued doing what it does best. Social media users started posting edits and jokes comparing the documentary release to the latest episode of a suspense thriller. One viral meme joked that the internet was waiting for the next part of the documentary, the same way people wait for the finale of a Netflix series. Another post compared the situation to a hip-hop chess match, suggesting that 50 Cent had once again managed to dominate the online conversation without even releasing a new song. But beneath the humor, another conversation started growing. Fans began discussing how documentaries influence the way audiences understand celebrity stories. Some argued that projects like this help viewers explore complicated industry history that might otherwise remain hidden. Others pointed out that documentaries are still forms of storytelling, meaning the narrative can shape how people interpret events. That debate added an entirely new layer to the situation, because now people weren't just talking about Diddy or Jay-Z, they were talking about the power of media itself. Meanwhile, YouTube commentators and livestream hosts continued analyzing the documentary like it was an unfolding series. Reaction videos appeared everywhere, with hosts discussing the tone of the episode and the way it presented controversial conversations. Some praised 50 Cent's ability to keep audiences engaged and curious. Others joked that the documentary release felt like a hip-hop version of a suspense drama where every episode ends with viewers waiting for the next twist. But perhaps the most fascinating part of the aftermath wasn't the reactions. It was the silence. Despite the internet storm surrounding the documentary, there were no immediate dramatic responses from the individuals whose names were being debated online. That silence created a strange tension across social media. Some fans interpreted it as confidence. Others believed it might be a strategy to avoid fueling more speculation. And in the world of viral headlines, silence can sometimes become the loudest response of all. Because the absence of a reply leaves room for imagination. People began wondering whether future episodes of the documentary might reveal additional details. Others speculated that interviews or statements might appear eventually, but there was one thing almost everyone agreed on. 50 Cent had once again succeeded in dominating the internet conversation. The documentary didn't just attract viewers, it created a storyline that people couldn't stop discussing. Even those who hadn't watched the episode found themselves hearing about it through memes, debates, and reaction videos. And that's the power of modern media. A single documentary episode can spark days of conversation across millions of screens. But here's the twist that makes this situation feel like the ending of a season finale. Even though the debates eventually slowed down, the curiosity didn't disappear. Fans are still waiting to see if another episode will drop, waiting to see if anyone mentioned will respond, waiting to see if the story grows even bigger. Because when a narrative like this spreads through the internet, it rarely disappears overnight. And there you have it. A documentary episode that somehow managed to send the entire hip-hop internet into investigation mode. One minute, it's just another project release, and the next minute, social media looks like a courtroom mixed with a reality show reunion. Timelines are debating, meme pages are celebrating, and reaction channels are refreshing their feeds like the next twist could drop at any second. Because whenever 50 Cent drops something controversial, the internet doesn't just watch. It analyzes every detail like it's breaking news. And let's be honest for a moment, 50 Cent has practically mastered the art of controlling the conversation. One post, one interview, one documentary clip, and suddenly millions of people are arguing about what it all means. But now the real question is for you. What do you think about part 3 of the documentary? Do you believe the internet is blowing the situation way out of proportion like it usually does? Or do you think the conversations happening around this project might reveal deeper stories about the music industry that people are just beginning to discuss? And here's another question. Do you think anyone mentioned in the online debates will actually respond? Or will the silence continue while the internet keeps speculating? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because you already know. The comment section on this channel turns into its own debate stage. Some of the wildest theories, funniest reactions, and smartest takes always come straight from you guys.